Hi there everyone! Welcome back to English with Catherine. I hope you're all really well. I'm really happy to see you here again. Another week, another video. So last week we received the silver play button in the post. It travelled all the way in a FedEx truck. All the way, I assume from America, I'm not sure. And so we decided to do an unboxing ceremony which will act like a kind of memory for us both to hold on to forever, but also to show you guys. So here's the video. I hope you enjoy it. Hi there everyone. Welcome back to English with Catherine. Well, today is a little bit different. I have got the YouTube play button box to open and it's a lovely day, so we've come to a nearby field and I'm going to open it. So I'm not very good using knives, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm told I have to open it over here. Okay, looks good, looks good. Ooh, it's open. Right, here we are you ready? Okay, let's lift this off. Ooh. Oh wow, look at it. This is so beautiful. Wow. Oh. Look at this. Oh my God. It says English with Catherine. Honestly, I just want to say thank you to all of you because I wouldn't have this without you. It's just something to represent all of your support and all of your lovely comments and likes and all of your subscriptions. So honestly, thank you so much. Now, it's funny that I've just been saying thank you to you because this video is kind of in the category of saying thank you, manners, how we behave in Britain. The word is etiquette and it just means behaviour of a certain culture. Now, when I was learning Spanish, I was always interested in the etiquette, their rules and their kind of guidelines of how they like to live. And I think people are always a little bit shocked when they come to the UK of how things work here. And so I just thought I'd make a video just purely to shed some light on the whole subject and help you a bit. Now, I'm not saying you have to copy any of this or do any of it. It's more just for your knowledge, because knowledge is power, right? And if you find yourself in the position where you've just relocated to the UK and you've landed in London and you have no idea of the kind of like customs of the place, this should help. And as I always say, when you learn a language, it's always more fun and interesting to learn about the culture. Culture, I just said that really weirdly. Culture. As you probably know, we have a reputation here in Britain of being really polite. Sometimes this backfires on us and it comes across as too polite and a bit fake. But which parts of our behaviour helped to give us this reputation? Well, I'm going to tell you. Also, if you plan to move to the UK in the future, you can get ahead and start learning about it now so that by the time you come, you'll feel really in the know about everything that really is essential. Regardless of the reason you need to know this, I'm just happy you're here, so enjoy the video. Number 1, asking for something in a shop. Now occasionally, when you go into a shop, you do need to ask for something. Maybe it's behind the till and you need them to go and get it for you. My Italian student told me that if you go into a shop, you just say cigarettes. So the Italian etiquette is just to go into the shop and say cigarettes. Well, if you did that in England, you would be met with maybe a kind of glare of, you're rude. That's a bit direct. Would you like to say please? Are you going to say please? And I just thought, what a culture difference between Italy and the UK. That is huge. So our way of asking for something is much, much less direct. If you think about it, it's just a way of softening the request. Because what you're really doing is going into the shop and asking someone to do something for you. Well, you can't just order people around. You can't just demand things, even though I love the direct way of the Italians. That is just great. So what we say is, would it be okay to get some cigarettes, please? Now we use get a bit more than we did before. This is American English, but very often you will hear people saying, can I please get a bottle of vodka? Okay, not vodka. I would not ever buy vodka. I haven't drunk vodka since I was a student. Ugh. So the language you need to learn is, could I please have? Could you please show me where the something is? Would you be able to show me where the something is? And sometimes we manage to use sorry, please, and thank you in the same sentence. Sorry to bother you. Could I please have some paracetamol? Thank you. So in the UK, you can't just buy paracetamol. You have to show your age, so you get ID'd to buy paracetamol. Not in every single shop, but in quite a lot of them. And then, of course, after they've finished helping you, you profusely thank them. Usually it's just, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Would you like a bag? Yes, thank you. Please, can I have a bag? Thank you. It's just all about the pleases and the thank yous. Number 2, saying no. So we don't really like to say no, like just that word. That word no just seems to not really sit very well with the British people. Of course it depends on the person, but I'm just talking generally here. It's softened and it's got some words around it to sort of like help build a little wall of support so that it doesn't sound so strong. I guess this is to avoid confrontation, avoid tension, kind of just keep the peace, make everything polite and nice. But what we use instead of no is, I'm afraid not. We can also say, unfortunately not. So we're putting a word before the word that has the word no in it. It's not even no, it's not, which is even softer than no. So I'm afraid not, or unfortunately not. For example, can you help me on Saturday? I really need you. It just so happens that you're not free. You really wanted to be free, but you're not. You can say, I'm afraid not. I have to be somewhere else. I've already committed. I'm so sorry. So obviously this is not to be used for every time you need to say no. For example, if someone says, do you want sugar in your tea? You would not say, unfortunately not. That would sound hilarious. You would just say, no thank you. And that's fine. No thank you is also fine because you've put it with the thank you and that's polite. But this is more when you have to say no to something that might cause disappointment. It's not going to disappoint the person that you don't want sugar in your tea. And if it does, that's very strange. So just to reiterate on that, your aim is to just sound less abrupt, less direct. That is all British etiquette in a nutshell. It's just being softer. Number 3, how to behave in a restaurant. This is such an interesting thing to compare to other countries because every single country does it differently. From asking for the bill, to how you order, to whether you tip or not. Today I'm going to just talk about how we ask for the bill. So I'm going to use Italy again in my example because it just so happens to be a really handy country to compare Britain to because it's such a contrast. Now in Italy, you're all about the body language, aren't you? You like to be expressive, not just Italy, I'm just talking about Italy for an example. And I love that, it's so warm and expressive. British people, well, we're more about the eyes. We like to make eye contact. In fact, we can catch your eye and tell you more about how we feel than by using actual words. In Italy, when they ask for the bill, it could be all manner of physical actions to try and get the attention of the waiter. But in Britain, it's more likely that we will catch the eye of the waiter. So just catch their eye and then sort of beckon them over. My dad has a really funny way of doing this. It's brilliant. Sometimes he doesn't say anything. He just goes, don't worry about doing this. It's pretty hard to master. And yeah, it's not the easiest thing. Catch the eye of the waiter and the waiter will come over and you just say, can I have the bill, please? The aim here is to, again, be less direct and discreet, subtle. You don't want to sort of throw your energy around. It's more about understated behaviour, I guess. Now don't get me wrong, not all of us Brits are like this. There are plenty of people that will shout loudly and get really drunk and be like, can I have the bill? generally those people are considered a bit rude. I'm sorry, it's true. I was a waitress when I was a student. I perfected this technique of avoiding the eye contact in the room because I was busy, right? I was doing something and I could feel everybody in the room was trying to catch my eye because they wanted extra garlic butter. I worked in an Italian restaurant, by the way. And I was busy, so I had to try and look across the restaurant without making eye contact with anyone. I'm sure they all just thought I was so annoying. Eventually I would serve them, of course, but that was my little technique, just to give myself a bit of time to do what I was doing. Just an extra point on that. In America, they call it the check. So they go, check please, or can I have the check? I think, I'm not quite sure. I think they say that. But we say the bill in Britain. Now, if you call it the check in Britain, it's not the end of the world. They'll know what you mean. But they will be like, ah, you're American. So try to maybe build your confidence in using the right word, but really, who cares? Number 4, queuing. Now, this is another very fascinating, by the way, I've stopped using the word interesting because I realised I used it far too much. So now my favourite word is fascinating. Enjoy. So this is a really fascinating thing to talk about. Queuing. Do you queue? Do you not queue? Well, in Britain, it's very important to form an orderly line of people so that it's fair for everyone. So British etiquette dictates that when you arrive to somewhere where there's a queue, you join the end of the queue and you wait your turn. Now, for me, if you want my personal opinion, queuing is the only way. How can you have order without queuing? I mean, it's just chaos. Now, when people say British people love queuing, it's not necessarily that we love it, because we complain the whole time. You will hear people going, oh, you know, people are just constantly checking their watch, just like moaning, sighing, but it's very important to us, which is why we love it, because it's a very important part of our culture, civilized existence. And if you dare to queue jump, well, who knows what your destiny is going to be. I wouldn't want to be you. Let's just say you will not be very popular. Okay guys, so here's some extra tips, some bonus material for you, just to really get you started with this subject for learning. So I'm going to tell you a few things never to do. And this might be the same in your culture, okay? So some of them are just pretty obvious, but let's see. Number 1, never ask about salary. So how much someone earns, okay? So salary is how much someone gets paid. Never ask, it's just not good, just don't do it, trust me. If you want to know what someone does for their job, you say, what do you do for a living? That's how we say that. We don't ask, how much do you make? Is it a lot? Come on, tell us. Don't. Number 2, never comment on someone's weight, okay? It's probably the same in your country. It's just rude, right? You don't really talk about someone's weight or their age. But that's just a general one, I think, across the globe. And the last one, never assume someone is pregnant. In fact, never ever talk about babies or when someone is going to have a baby. It's generally quite personal, quite rude, quite invasive. And of course, if you assume someone is expecting and you get it wrong, that could be very embarrassing. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You've had an introduction to British etiquette, which is really difficult to say. That's a tongue twister. British etiquette. And there's plenty more where that came from. I hope you loved it. Tell me in the comments below if you did. Don't tell me in the comments if you didn't like it. No, you can if you want. Hit subscribe if you feel in the mood to. That's always a wonderful, wonderful thing. And you can follow me on Instagram to have a look at what I get up to in my everyday life. I'd love to have you on board. And I'll see you next Friday for another video. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.